in for another 3 minutes.
That is correct. Let's put on some tunage.
We're live, just so you know.
Yes, so don't talk about what you were talking about before.
No, I can't.
Right.
Illegal.
No,
You see my new can opener?
let's see it.
Bottle opener?
Oh, that's awesome.
Man.
What that cost you?
Is that?
How much did that run?
It's worth $4. I don't
Oh,
know.
that's not bad. I figured you'd tell me it was $20. I'd laugh at you.
Yeah. No way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an army guy.
So it's raining down here, snowing up north. I wish it was snowing here.
Really?
I wouldn't.
Just being stuck at home, man. Let's have a blizzard. Just let
I
me
wish.
stuck at
I
home.
wish we would get whacked just once. Just once
Yeah,
a year.
blizzard. Stay in the house. Start a fire. I have a fire going now, but when it's snowing outside.
Right.
Oh, my son. I've been told you can't see the wall art. No, well, it's blurred out, kid. Sorry. You already have a critic.
Get yourself in trouble.
I know. Hey, Owen, what are you watching on YouTube? I'm waiting for a text message on. See what comes through.
Oh, don't forget it's 20-second delay.
Oh, really? That's right. You got a beep button to bleep out my language?
No, I haven't figured that part out yet.
He goes, yep, he's on YouTube.
Guys, we're come on a little bit early today. Get ready for everyone to join on. If you're just joining us now, just hang out for a little bit.
You figure being stuck at home after being sick, you'd have a good time.
David says hi, guys.
Hi,
Hey,
Dave.
I've watched more TV than I've ever can imagine.
We watched all the Rocky series. Watched the whole Rocky series.
Yeah.
There we go. Timer's off.
Timer's off. All right, guys. Welcome to T4 Survival Live. I am Jamie Arute here with, I'll say it, Michael Kahn and Scott Allard. Now we don't talk over each other. Welcome,
go.
everyone.
You should have little name tags below us, like little titles. What do you think?
Yeah, I can add that
Be
in.
impressive.
I can
You
add
gotta
that
edit
in.
that. Hold on.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll wire this down.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Glad to see you all look good. Yes, Jeff. We all do look good. We look really good.
I always look good, even at my worst. Thank you.
There we go. That way.
Was that
Ooh.
modest? I'll be more modest. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Here we go. Now you guys know who is who because I always get mistaken for Michael Kahn. So
It's easy.
Me too.
it's the
Oh, I
beard.
got
Me too.
twins.
What's going on, guys? How are things in the great state of Connecticut?
You know, can't complain. Same as always.
Yeah.
Can't go anywhere. Can't do anything.
What's the weather like right now?
Pouring.
Rainy.
Oh, it is
It's,
raining.
It was earlier. I haven't been outside in a while.
It's just nasty and cold and rainy.
I've been lucky that I can send my minions forth to let the dogs out.
Ah.
Let's see what's going on.
We had a little bit of sun earlier today. Got up to about 50, 55, and then it changed, and now it's snowing. I can't even see across the lake. So
Okay.
visibility's low. Yeah, they're saying an inch or two of snow overnight. So we'll see. Not like we have to get up early and get the kids on the bus or drive them to school, right?
Yeah.
So,
Right.
all right, guys. Well, we got some topics to cover with everyone today, and one of the things that we wanted to go over with you guys was these home defense preparedness video that I put out earlier in the week, and talking about safety and tips and things you could do to prepare yourself and defend against a home invasion. But one of the things we've discussed about was types of rounds to use, right, inside of the home. Last week we talked a little bit about it on our live. I mentioned it in the videos I put out this past week. If you haven't seen those yet, go to our YouTube channel. And you can see them from there. Unless you're watching us from our YouTube, check them out afterwards. But we talked about ball rounds, right? We talked about defensive rounds and the penetration of those rounds. So a couple years ago, we took a solid core door to the range, and we put some rounds through it, right, guys?
This was a heavy door too. This wasn't. We initially we thought this door would hold up or perform differently,
right,
because of the weight.
Yep.
It was heavy.
Oh, absolutely.
Both of us, two of us had to carry it.
So it would be, this would be the type of door you would have on the front of your home, right? So not even an inside hollow door or a semi-solid core door that you'd have inside of your home. This would be like a front door. So understanding the weight, and I mean, this thing must have weighed close to 100 pounds, right? It was a heavy door.
At least 80. Yeah. At least 80.
So we got a video of us out on the range, and we're going to kind of talk you guys through this as you're watching it. But we thought it'd be interesting for you guys to see exactly what a penetration of rounds looks like, and being able to see what happens on the other side of the door. So if you're firing your weapon inside of your home, and we were using ball rounds for this, we weren't using defensive rounds. Hello, how are you? Good to see you, Mike. If you were using defensive rounds, exactly what would happen if you did pull that trigger and went through that door, and how far would it travel outside? Would it go into the neighbor's home? Would it travel through the rest of your home? So here's a video, guys. Let's take a look, and we'll talk you through what's going on. All right, 22, we're ready. We're good. 9mm. We're good. 9mm.
We good?
Good. 45. $45.
Very good. Want to just go ahead and do another one?
Yeah.
Let me get to the left side of there.
Yeah, both of them went through. Shocking.
Yep, here.
Want to just go ahead and do another one?
Yeah.
Let me get to the left side of there. Want to just go ahead and do another one?
Yeah.
Let me get to the left side of there.
Shotgun.
Shotgun.
And the grouping, how tight it's still.
Yeah.
There's a lot to consider.
Right.
And it's hard to find a location to do that kind of testing. Like we did everything we do there in a lot of our other videos. It's all private range. It's a private facilities. It's not a club we're joined. You don't have access to a lot of this property, even by joining a club.
Right.
Most clubs we talk about, rules against drawing from the holster, different types of target. You can't shoot steel.
Yeah.
They're not going to let you bring doors out there to try. Good luck bringing a car to practice, exiting and going to firing from outside the vehicle, around the vehicle.
Yeah.
You're just not getting that.
Right. Oh, here.
You have to take advantage when you see those opportunities. I tell you, take advantage of them.
Oh, yeah.
They're few and far between.
Yeah, imagine going to your range as a private citizen and be like, hey, I want to bring a door I would like to shoot at. Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah.
No.
You're better off begging for forgiveness because it isn't happening.
No, it isn't.
Right.
And in that case, so you're going to get thrown out of that club. Good luck.
Yeah. Oh, I hear.
I think the video.
Go ahead.
I think the video dictates too. People have the false sense of security of I'm just going to hide behind this door, whether it's at home or at a school or whatever. You get behind that door. Well, this is a solid door. We're good.
Nope.
Nothing's going to get to this door, and they fall into that false sense of security of protection.
Right.
And again, that's just concealment.
Mm-hmm.
And even a steel door, it doesn't mean it's solid.
No.
Yeah,
It's
you're right.
just sheet metal over some insulation or spacers.
Right.
You may not be behind anything that's solid, or will even slow it down.
Well, that brings us to when we do our camps, when we shoot the cars and let everyone see the penetration of the rounds through, one side of the vehicle, going through the passenger compartment, coming out the opposite side. Right? People think that it's a metal car, or it's not going to penetrate through, and it's very eye-opening when you realize, the penetration of these rounds. And you just saw a nice demonstration there through the solid core door. Hey guys, Owen has a question. Did the shotgun hit the steel to the left? I think it hit to the steel to the right. I think it hit the steel to the right. You know what?
Thank you for the question.
What was that?
Thank you for your question. You're not grounded.
Hey, look what cup I have today.
Oh, there you go.
Batman cup going on. Right, guys, if you have questions for us, put them in the comments. If you have questions about the types of rounds that we just shot in that last video, and you have any questions for us or want to make a comment on what you just witnessed, please put them in the comments, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube. It'll come across our screen, and we'll be glad to answer those questions for you guys. So brings me to the next video. So this is an oldie but goodie in the sense that this is a DEA agent doing a classroom presentation, and the reason why we're showing this is I thought a good segue from the penetration of rounds. Thank you, I appreciate that. Right, but also safety and training, right? And everyone needs to have safety and training, no matter what your experience level is. So take a look at this video. It's short, and then we're going to have a little conversation about it, guys. Here we go.
Guys, if somebody ever comes around you talking to you about drugs, run away from them. You understand what I'm saying? Run away from them. And see, I got these guns that I want to talk to you guys about. I have a whole lot more to tell you, but I don't have a whole lot of time. I got these guns. I have a gun on my side right here. Just this week, at the beginning of the week, a young boy, not even 16 years old, was killed because he was playing with a gun. And see, this is an unloaded gun. Right here, this is the gun. No, empty weapon. Empty weapon. This is a Glock 40. 50 Cent, Too Short, all of them talk about Glock 40. Okay, I'm the only one in this room professional enough that I know of to carry this Glock 40. I'm the only one. Right? No, all right. Is everybody all right? You all right? Stop, this is false.
You can find that online.
Yes.
So we harp on with all of our training, especially when it comes to live fire, even when it's the training, the T4E guns, because you can still get hurt. I mean, it's not usually catastrophic, the injury,
right.
like when you're live fire. But we really harp on it, and we really concentrate on safety in everything we do.
Yeah.
And you have to do that when you're training by yourself.
Right.
So you decide tonight I want to clean my firearm. Well, first rule, make sure the weapon's unloaded and make sure there's no ammunition in the work area.
Right.
So that helps you not make mistakes.
Right.
You know, I'm going to go do room clearing, or I'm going to practice weapon disarms. Pick a training weapon. Don't use a live firearm. If you have to, and that's all you have, make sure you've cleared that weapon. Make sure your partner's cleared that weapon.
Right.
You know, if you have to, get a bore flag. There are mechanisms you can put into place. Even replace your barrel. They have plastic training barrels.
Right.
That the weapon cannot function, or you cannot load a round into it, but you can still have your live weapon
right.
without the ability to fire and still work room clearing, work weapon protect, work holster draws.
Yeah.
But you have to have that safety. It just takes the catastrophic events that occur. It doesn't take much.
No.
And that one pull of the trigger can change your life, somebody else's life, and the ramifications is, I don't even want to imagine what could happen to you.
Right. You know, a lot of the accidental discharges with the Glocks come from that. They take the magazine out. There's still one in the chamber. You got to pull the trigger back to take the slide off. So they pull that trigger and forget that there's one in the hole, and you have that accidental discharge.
A lot of competent firearm instructor, or anybody who does this kind of training, they focus on safety. You know, you look, you feel, you always check with use as many senses as you can. You're not going to lick the gun to see if it's clear, but when you look into the open chamber and you put your finger in there, you could feel a significant change between a round in the chamber and a round not.
Right.
You know, it's really. I was at a competition. The range safety guys were checking your weapons, and then they tell you to close the bolt action rifle, close the action, and pull the trigger. And once they told you it was clear, I verified it was clear, and they had missed a round in the chamber. I had an accident, a negligent discharge.
Right.
And it's really my fault because I didn't check it, but they were supposed to be checking, and how lazy they were.
That's a very good point.
That's why
People make mistakes.
Well,
that's why it's very important. Even when you take your magazine out, how redundant it is, we train people to physically and visually inspect your weapon, which means look down the magazine well, stick your finger up the magazine well, put your finger in the breech, make sure you don't see any brass or anything like that. It's very redundant, but it's very important stuff.
You know,
so you visually and physically inspect your weapon before you do anything with it.
Yeah, we do it even with our training weapons. I mean, how many years have we been working together? Even if we're using a training weapon on the training floor, we're still putting the slide back, checking, looking inside and treating it as if it's a real firearm. And it just creates that.
Well, even with our training weapons, if it's loaded and when the partner you're working with pulls a trigger and hits you in the face, you can lose your vision.
Right.
You're seriously injured. I mean, it's not intended for that. It's intended for, I wouldn't even call it less lethal. It's a training device,
right?
But it could cause injury.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's why we when we do these shoot no shoot, and we wear eye protection.
Right. Yep. Very important.
And that's just not the T3 weapon. That's any of those weapons.
Yes.
Any airsoft. You can go to Walmart and get a piece of crap airsoft gun, but if that round goes off into your face, into your eye, you're still going to lose your eye. So it's very important.
It almost feels silly when you're playing around with Nerf. You should have eye protection on.
Yeah.
Of course you should.
Now with a decent enough, you can hurt yourself.
Right.
Those guns, those Nerf guns, they come out. the velocity on those are pretty rapid.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, if you got an open
I wouldn't
eyeball,
take it in the eye.
yeah, and it hits it in the eye, absolutely, you can cause some damage.
Really can't.
Yeah.
Not worth it.
Nope, I totally agree. Guys, have you ever been hit with the Nerf round? You can let me know in the comments. How about that? I'm sure if you got kids.
How about you ever been hit with a T4E round?
Oh yeah.
That one?
Oh, yep. Should I bring up some pictures, Mike?
No, no. Me cringing from my the trauma I relive every time I see the end of the barrel of one of those guns. Oh, my
man,
God.
Absolutely.
It's not. They're not that bad, but it's not fun. I'll tell you, it's not fun.
Nope. Let's talk about the real steel, the real firearms now. And the next video clip we have is actually a high-speed camera taking 73,000 frames per second of a round being shot out of the front of a firearm. And Scott, you sent this over to us earlier, and I was just amazed at the look of this. Let's take a look, guys.
A bullet exiting a gun at 73,000 frames per second. 73,000. A bullet.
It's just basically a piece of metal in their hands, or metal and plastic, whatever you want to.
Right. But you could do a lot of damage with that by using it as a weapon, right? As in a really good hammer, if you were to take it away from someone.
When you're the good guy taking that away.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful toy.
So I want to take a couple minutes and talk about our online classes, because now that the training centers have been officially closed down for the coming weeks, I'm offering classes on Saturday mornings at 9:30 a.m., Monday and Wednesday nights at 6:30. So if you've been thinking about doing Krav Maga training, you're watching us from somewhere in Connecticut, Massachusetts, Maine, California, Puerto Rico, UK, it doesn't matter, because now you can join us online. You can get to work out and learn all the fundamental skills in Krav Maga, the combatives, the elbows, the hammer fist, the punches, how to properly use them, how to properly throw them, in a 1-hour class online. Again, offered 3 times a week. You can pay per class if you like, or we have special packages that are coming out the next couple of days for people to be able to get a membership and have access to the online classes. Now, if you're a member to the training center in Connecticut or up in Maine, you actually get these as part of your membership. So there is no additional charge for you. You get access to all the classes and access to us. But if you're not a member and are interested in getting going with your training, then send us a message or put them in the comments below, and we'll get you information on the next class coming up. And if you're watching this in a live stream, after we're live and you're watching the re-recorded version, again, it's Monday and Wednesday nights at 6:30, and Saturday mornings at 9:30 a.m. The other option we have is private video training with one of the 3 of us. So if you want to get on a video chat with us for an hour private class and either work some weapon fundamentals of questions you have for us, or want to work some Krav Maga fundamentals, boxing drills, you have access to us to be able to do private training one-on-one video-wise. Again, if you're interested in that, you can put them in the comments or send us a message. The easiest way to contact us, though, and we get so many of these throughout the week, is go to our website. Bottom right-hand corner, you'll see a little chat bubble. Click on that, and you'll start a chat, and you'll get one of the 3 of us. Now, the 3 of us are extremely busy, even though all this is going on. So if we're not available, you'll have to leave a message, but we're usually pretty responsive in getting back to you within a couple of hours. So if you're interested in more information on any of these, go to our website, click that little chat bubble. I probably want to do it for the next half hour but you'll be able to contact us and ask us any questions you have and talk about some of the training programs and events we have coming up. As of right now, the T4 Survival Camp for May is still on. It has not been canceled yet. We're going to be outside training for the time period. It's a very small group of people that come up for that training. There are a couple spots still available. So if you're interested in getting out here to the Northwoods and getting some training done, which I think is extremely important. I'm sure a lot of people's eyes are wide open right now with what's going on and realizing the importance of knowing how to defend yourself and keep your family safe, not only with a firearm, but with improvised weapons and with your bare hands. I think it's very important, guys, that you start getting some training done, whether it's online, and once this is all over, get into a training center, get a good qualified firearm instructor, and hit that range and get some training, lots and lots of training. I can't even tell you how many people contact us in the past 2 weeks. And I know Mike and Scott can vouch for, hey, where do we get ammunition? Can we get to the range? Can we, and right now everything is scarce. It's hard to get ammunition. I went into town a few days ago and went into the gun store, and 9mm defensive rounds completely sold out. And he said it's probably going to be months before they get anything back in stock. But guess what they did have? 40. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, they had 40.
That's why you have more than one firearm and more than one caliber.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. But
so you got a variety, right?
And
you don't have one shirt, one pair of shoes. You got to have a tool that works for the environment you have.
Right. Absolutely. Hold on.
So between now when camp rolls around, ammunition should be a little more available again, and I think the prices will level out and come back down to normal. What are you two? How old are you two?
Well, no, Marvel made DC Comics said make sure that you show the Batman logo.
Oh, that would be great if they were a sponsor.
I just want to make sure that they see
maybe
it.
they will.
If they want to be a sponsor, we're happy to have them.
Absolutely.
Come on out.
And I can easily slide this in at any point and make it nicely visible for anyone. See that? Nice and smooth.
All right, we're going to do that. Listen, Glock, if you want to sponsor us, this is checked already.
That thing unloaded? Is that thing unloaded?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Glock, if you want to sponsor, we're here for you.
Oh, absolutely.
I have a number of your fine firearms, and eventually we're going to talk Scott into
Mossberg. Yeah, I used to do a lot of work with Mossberg. One of my guys used to be the head of sales over there, and they used to do a lot of events with us. And then they ended up moving out of Connecticut. And Mossberg, look me up. Love your stuff, right?
And you know what? I mean, we talk about with the video is, accessibility. If you have a home defense option that you like, we mentioned accessibility. If it's locked away in your safe, you're not going to get to it when somebody's coming through the door or if there's a home invasion.
Right.
Having it on you is important.
Here.
You may feel comfortable enough. Well, then what are your weapons of opportunity? Do you have improvised weapons? Have you looked around the room and said to yourself, yeah, I can use that as a weapon. This is handy.
Right.
I know it's kind of a running joke, but I got a sword on the wall behind me. Granted, it's not meant to be used as a sword, but hey, man, I got somebody coming up my stairs. This is all I can get to.
Yeah.
I'm going to use it.
Right. And having that mindset that you will too, right? It's one thing to say, oh yeah, I'll grab anything in the room and I'll hit them over the head to defend my family. But the big question is, will you when it's time, or will you hesitate? So being able to have that conversation with yourself of how far you're willing to go to defend yourself and your family.
And it can't be when the glass is breaking.
No, it's got to be well before that. And with what we're going through right now, I think a lot of people are having that conversations with themselves. And if you're not, I need to impress upon you, it's time. It's time to think about, defending your home and how far you're willing to go to defend yourself and defend your family if necessary. And hopefully it doesn't come to that. But I'll tell you, we've had lots of conversations over the past few days, and social unrest is starting to unravel a little bit.
Well, before this even happened, we had the car burglaries all the time.
Yeah.
In Connecticut, at least. It's everywhere. We're not special.
Right.
But lock your doors.
Yeah.
Lock your car doors, lock the garage door, lock the inside garage door. Just because you think you live in a place where this doesn't happen or this shouldn't happen doesn't mean it's not going to happen.
Well, what happened yesterday in Cheshire?
Yep, look at that.
6:30 in the morning, right? A guy pulls up and blocks this guy's car.
How old was the victim? Over 60?
Yeah, I think it was 65.
He was shopping at Stop and Shop for the 60 and over.
Yep.
And Jamie, you have that article handy?
I can grab it in a couple, but I know.
The details are, so a car pulled up behind him as he was getting out, blocked him in.
Yep.
A guy jumps out of the passenger side with a mask on and approaches, "Give me your keys." This gentleman had some pretty
Some
brave
spunk.
and shoved the guy. He had some fire in him, and what are you doing? And the bad guy, of course, this wasn't supposed to go to his plan. His plan was he was going to hand over the keys and leave.
Right.
But this didn't work. He didn't know what to do. He jumped back in the car. They left.
Right.
This guy, he got lucky. I mean, really, they want your keys.
Well, that goes back to that
situation.
Well, he wasn't
That
showing
goes
any
back
weapon, so that I think
Right.
that was probably a little bit of his. He got a little brave and was like, "Hey, I don't see anything brandishing any weapon. Let me push back a little bit," and it worked. But not to say it would always go that way.
It's gonna work though, and you got to have a follow up.
Yeah.
Hands on, you might have to keep going until you're safe.
Right. At 65
Well,
years old, can you defend yourself? Hell yeah. I know plenty of people that are 60 to 70 years old that are training in our training centers, right? That I wouldn't want to mess with, right?
One of the hardest people that have hit me is how old's Doc?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
He's hit me a couple of times, and I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, he's powerful.
And how old?
He's in early 70s. Early
Yeah.
70s, yep.
Yeah. It's a matter
That's
of
why
strike
whenever we-
properly and the tactics, the technique you can use the right way.
Yeah.
whenever we train weapon defense or whatever, I always tell the guys, this bad guy's gonna come up to you because he sees an easy victim,
You're right.
Right.
and he's used to out of the last 10 people, everybody just gave him what they wanted.
Right.
You show that little bit of hesitation, a little bit of resistance,
Yeah.
they fall apart. And this is a perfect example of this mutt falling apart when he got the resistance.
Right.
He didn't know what to do.
Right.
His last victims were, okay, here, take whatever you want.
Yeah.
Now this guy shows a little resistance. He falls apart. He crumbles, drops back to his car and takes off.
Right. Right.
Because he doesn't have a follow-up. He doesn't have a plan to go a different direction.
Yeah.
No.
No.
And we teach in training. I give a lot of credit to Jamie. He shows multiple avenues where things go, especially with ground fighting. If he does this, you can have these options.
Right.
And they don't think like that.
No.
We think, okay, I kicked him low. He bent over. This is how I'm going to strike him. If he doesn't go down, this is how I'm going to strike him. There's different ways to work.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
And they don't.
And you got to continue striking. You can't just hit him once.
Well,
Right.
Like you always say, you're not just hit him once. You hit him once. Don't think it's over.
Right,
Just
neutralize
keep
the
going.
threat. Make sure he can't hurt you or come after you anymore. Which brings me to, and even another important point. When we do the weapon disarms, we do the gun disarms, the knife disarms. We talk about that these bad guys don't train for that. The only ones that do train for that are the terrorists. Hamas and has been known to study some of our tactics and practice them to try to figure out how they can overcome our defenses. But the normal street thug gang member, they aren't necessarily training on how to deal with someone that's taking the weapon away. It's not supposed to happen. So that's when they don't have a plan, and that's when you train with us. That's when your plan starts. You're like, this is what I do. This is how I operate. Now it's my territory, and this is how the tables are going to be turned. And now the bad guy becomes the victim. The bad guy is the one that's now going to be on the losing end because it's not what he trains, but it's what we do for a living, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Hey, guys, hit that like button if you like the conversation, what we're talking about. I see a few likes already coming through. We appreciate it. If you have questions for us, put them in the comments. Ask us anything that you like, any relevant to the topic that we're talking about, or maybe it's something you're seeing in the news or hearing about and you're curious on what our opinion is. Feel free to put them in the comments below, and we'll answer them here live. If you're watching this pre-recorded afterwards, after the live session, you can put them in the comments and we'll respond in the comments as well. So,
Guys, just to think about, really, I know sometimes people get in a group or they're online, they don't want to ask a certain question. There aren't stupid questions.
No.
Now, we won't necessarily make fun of you. We might make fun of you, but not online. If you feel uncomfortable, you have a question you really, really want asked, and you feel it's important for other people, you just feel silly, message us.
right.
You could send us a private message. You could go right to the webpage. Say, listen, I want to ask a question or have question answered, but I don't want anybody to know I'm the one who asked the question.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, we have come up with some bonehead ideas and some bonehead questions, and we'll ask each other, well, hey, you ever hear this? We'll razz each other, but it's all in good fun. I mean, everybody gets something out of it.
Right.
So if you have a question, we may benefit from the question. We may have thought of it the way you're thinking of it, or
Yeah.
how you're viewing something. Get out there.
Not too
ask
many questions we haven't heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because we're professionals. We're competent. We're confident. We have a lot of training experience in what we do.
Right.
We don't know all the answers.
Right.
You're going to ask me a question about a firearm. I'm going to look at you. I've never even heard of that.
Yeah.
You know, I know what I know, and I definitely know what I don't know. And I'm not going to tell you I know everything. Oh, God, no.
Right. You know, it's funny, too, because a lot of times we'll get asked questions, and 2 or 3 other people in the room were like afterwards, like, oh, yeah, I was thinking the same thing, but they didn't want to ask, right? So, guys, feel free to start the conversation with us. You have access to us here for this for about another 20 minutes to a half hour. Don't hesitate. Put them in the comments. Let us know what you have for questions. We'll be glad to answer them for you.
You don't have to wait till we're live. You can message us when we're offline, and we'll throw it in the next episode.
Yeah.
We'll answer you directly what we think, and then we'll throw it online for the next episode.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, guys, make sure you're getting online training with us. If you're interested in doing private training sessions with us, you know, like I said, look us up, send us a message, and we could set up a time to interview you and find out what your training goals are and see if we could put together a nice program for you to help you succeed at those training goals. So Jeff is asking, can you discuss the difference between cover and concealment, and does it apply at all to home defense? Does it apply all to home defense, right?
Like, I don't think anything in your house is true cover.
Yeah.
Other than your the stone fire. I have a field stone fireplace.
Yeah.
That is probably the only thing in my house that's true cover.
About it.
Yeah.
The refrigerator, they're not that heavy materials like they used to be back in the day.
Bathtubs aren't solid anymore.
Watch like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, where he opens the door and he's blocking rounds, or whatever movie you're watching.
Right.
That's not happening, guys. That's going to go right through. So the reality is, distance and concealment is the only friend.
Yep.
In a house. There really is nothing I can think of other than that. That real masonry, cement, that's going to stop around.
So everybody understands, if you don't know the difference between cover and concealment. So conceal means that I'm hiding from something, but whatever I'm hiding behind is not going to stop around from getting at me. Hiding behind, concealment would be behind a curtain, a sheetrock wall.
Think of your kids playing hide and seek when they're young. They're hiding behind the curtains.
Right.
That's concealment.
Yep. Cover is when I'm behind something that would stop around. And depending on the caliber and the round, as you saw in the video earlier in class, and if you're jumping in late, at the end of this, go back and watch the live stream from the beginning, and you're going to see a nice demonstration we have. We filmed shooting some rounds through a solid core door, so you can see what that somebody try to shoot at you through a wall and tag a stud and maybe stop the round? Sure.
But are you going to rely on the 16 inches in between each stud, or whatever that turns out to be, 12 inches?
Right.
To say that's going to get you?
Yeah.
That's like using a car door and praying no support in there will stop a round. And we know through our experience and our training, we have put rounds through doors.
Yeah.
They've gone through the supports and continued on to throughout the other door.
Right.
So you got to get off. You got to get offline. You got to keep. You got to move.
Right. Right.
Move and get even with concealment.
Yeah.
You got to keep moving. You got to get away from it.
Absolutely. Right. Hey Jeff, really good question. I appreciate you bringing it up and asking the question.
I'm sorry that I don't shut up. I seem to be talking a lot.
You're doing good. You're doing great.
You know what?
I'm like on fire.
Oh, but
this is the most I've had to look at 4 other people in my house for the last week and a half.
Well, you know what, guys, is when we get into this banter and conversations that we hear the feedback afterwards of like, oh, I never looked at it that way, or I never thought about the way you presented it. And so I think this is important information to get out to everyone and understanding the differences in defenses and where you might be. So let's talk about the car. Let's talk about car defenses. So you brought up a good point. What's the one thing in the vehicle that may stop a round?
The key is may. That engine block.
Yep. And that's no definite, right?
And even you might get lucky behind the radial belt tire.
Yeah.
Not the side, but
the axle. Yeah, the front axle and the tire. But
there's not a lot of material there that's protecting you. And most people are not tiny.
No.
A kid could probably tuck in behind that wheel well and be like, "I'm done, I'm good," but not us.
Right. Nope. Absolutely.
Well, that vehicle's a temporary cover anyway.
Right.
If you're stuck between your vehicle and a firefight, you should be looking for another means of cover.
Right.
Somewhere else. So you shouldn't be like, "Oh, I'm behind my engine block, I'm good."
Yeah.
Because you're going to skip rounds, you're going to go through the tire, and you, like Mike said, you can't hide behind for a long period of time. So eventually something's going to get exposed, a leg, an arm, or whatever.
Right.
So you should be looking for another form of cover while you're stuck behind your car.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
Oh, try doing that. Go behind the wheel of your car, stay crunched up as long as possible,
Yep.
and see how fatigued you get.
Right.
And then put on your whatever tactical gear or equipment you would use, and if something like your gun on your hip, or go all out, put all your gear on, and see if you can crunch down and hide behind that wheel well.
Right.
It's gonna be a short-term solution for you.
No, absolutely.
do that after a big meal. Now add a big meal to that.
There you go.
Jesus, Scott. Oh, you might.
You don't choose when it happens, right?
Oh, no, you don't.
If I had to choose an altercation, I'd pick 70 degrees with a breeze.
Yeah. Go have a lunch. Go have a huge lunch.
Where?
And then all of a sudden, crap.
Where do you leave there? Where you every time you leave, you're not hungry anymore.
Yeah, the Birches.
The Birches. There you go. Have Paul cook us a nice meal, and then we'll go out.
Haddock, that'll do you good.
Yeah.
Hey, we got another question from online, guys. Let me put it up here on the screen. So I saw you had a session on shotgun versus pistol for home defense. What do you think is the best for home defense situation, especially if a novice had to use one or the other in a home invasion situation? What do you guys
See,
think?
here's the thing. This is a question that's a straight answer from us, because if it's me in my house and you're coming through with either weapon, I'm giddy. But if you come through the door with a shotgun, and I'm in a position where I can take you on, you just gave me the leverage I need. More leverage, it's going to be one heck of a roller coaster for you, because we can teach you how to take possession and control and use it against them.
Right.
And for a novice, if you think you're now going to go with an average size shotgun, I'm now going to search. I'm going to check the house for the bad guy, because you for some reason you're thinking this is what I have to do. Most people aren't going to think about that barrel going through the door before them and how much they're giving that person the idea where they are.
Right.
Or it's leading the way.
Yeah.
So a shotgun's great if you're gonna stay in place and secure that door and wait. If they keep coming, you warn them.
There you go.
I got a shotgun. Go get out. Don't come through that door. Leave the door alone. At least get someone notice. The other thing I love about shotguns is everybody knows what that rack sounds like.
Are you ready?
I mean, you think about it. You can hear it in a video game, a movie, in real life. You know what was just cycled.
Yeah.
It was a shotgun.
That's universal
that noise
terminology.
alone
Don't come through my door.
Scare a semi-intelligent bad guy out of your house.
Right.
You would hope.
Yep.
What I like about, and I would normally go to before a shotgun for me, because I have a lot of training, a lot of experience, I'm very comfortable, is with my handguns.
Yeah.
And I can go through a doorway and keep it tight where I have more power towards my core and make it harder for you to disarm me. But again, Scott, Jamie, and I, because of the training we do and what we've done for many years, we're more apt to go check the house instead of waiting for help.
Yeah.
We train in this. We're experiencing this. We know how to keep that weapon retention. If somebody's on top of you trying to take it,
right.
Unless you do that training, you really need to consider, instead of necessarily what better for home defense, how am I going to respond?
Right. And if you don't have any training whatsoever, and you said, listen, I haven't had any training. I don't really feel comfortable with a handgun. I've shot a shotgun once or twice, and that was your only option. I would say go for the shotgun, hide yourself in a room, lock the door, call 911, hope that they get there in enough time. Get off center line of that door. Make sure you're off angle. In other words, don't stand directly behind the door. Go off a little bit on an angle from that door. Have the weapon pointed at the door. And if someone breaches in that door, obviously you're going to give a warning. And if they enter the door, then you're going to pulling that trigger. I would say, as a novice, if you didn't have access to anything else, you didn't have any training, that's what I would suggest that you do. If you go ahead.
The other thing too is, now a lot of people that have tried a shotgun, they shot a 12 gauge, not a big stature. They were nervous. They were scared.
Right.
A 12 gauge has quite a, depending on the shotgun. I shot shotguns that made my shoulder feel like it was going to fall off.
Right.
I'm a big guy. I know how to shoot the thing, but not all are made equally. You could get a cheap shotgun that'll be painful to fire.
Right.
You can buy a halfway decent shotgun that works for you, but you can also explore. Okay, so 12 gauge isn't for you. Maybe a 20 gauge, maybe a 410.
410, yeah.
It's something with a smaller shell that's not going to have the impact on you, but the bad guy doesn't know you're using a 20 gauge.
Right.
They still heard a shotgun rack.
Yeah.
And there's still birdshot, there's still double, there's slug. The thing is, I would avoid the slug because you're probably gonna have a lot of over penetration.
Oh yeah.
And that's also now, instead of having that spread, you have a single projectile coming out.
Right.
So you're gonna have to really aim, which you definitely want to aim what you're shooting at, but under stress, you don't know. People go back to their lowest level of training.
Right. And here's the other thing: who else is in the home? Right. So you've gone into the corner of your bedroom. You've taken a stance there of where you're going to stay, and you're called 911. But maybe you have kids or other family members in other areas of the house that you have to one, protect. Two, is if you're firing that round, where are they located in the house, and where's that round going to penetrate through? So these are all things you need to consider depending on the layout of your house. You need to have a game plan, right? You need to be able to have a meeting with your family and say, okay, something goes bump in the middle of the night. Here's everyone's responsibility. Here's your wife's responsibility. Here's the husband's responsibility. Here's the oldest daughter or son's responsibility, and knowing where you're going to go and systematically what's going to happen, right? The other thing is, you call 911. How long is that response time going to be? Somebody's already inside your home. They're looking for you. And you call 911, dispatcher picks up that call. Maybe you can't communicate at all, so you just put the phone down is the one thing I would suggest doing if you're trying to hide and be quiet so that they don't know where you are inside the home. That open line, at least the dispatcher can hear what's going on and hopefully be able to, through the 911 system, identify where you are. With the 911 systems with the new Wi-Fi, I think this is something important to mention. Make sure you have in your phone settings, if you're using Wi-Fi calling or if you're using a voice over IP phone service, that you go into your settings and you set up your address, because that's the information that gets kicked out to the comm system, right? And dispatch guys.
Yep.
So
yeah, a lot of those carriers you have to set it up.
Yeah.
Especially if you're using Wi-Fi calling, there are settings that you set your home address.
So that,
because I think those VoIPs, it'll show that you're calling. Like, think of all the scams you get.
Yeah.
How many people have had a scam where you're calling yourself and, my warranty's up, or the IRS wants your money from you, and you're like, I just called myself, or somebody I know called me. This isn't right.
Right.
Well, that is what the VoIP systems can do. They can be manipulated, or if they're not set properly, it's going to show your carrier in Western Rhode Island,
right,
or wherever, because Cox Communication is a satellite there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to register properly.
Right. So being aware of where that goes. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, guys, want to make sure you have the settings done correctly. But two is that you can't rely on just a 911 call and just wait for them to arrive, because minutes are going to go by, and a lot of damage and a lot of things can happen in minutes. So being able to prepare yourself of what you need to do to defend your family and having that game plan is extremely important. And like Mike mentioned earlier about having that conversation with yourself about how far you're willing to go to defend yourself, you need to have that conversation now, not in the moment, and not when the glass breaks, right?
Yeah, you also need to be aware of what the laws are.
Yeah.
The laws in Maine may not be in line with the laws in Connecticut and the laws in Hawaii and the laws wherever.
Right.
So wherever you are, you need to be aware of that. You can, if you lived in Connecticut and you moved to Arizona or wherever, you can end up putting yourself in a situation where you're going to go to jail.
Right.
For doing what you thought was in accordance with the state law of where you're living.
Yeah.
So it's essential to be aware of what you can do legally, and as a parent, you're probably gonna not be thinking too clearly. So rationalizing it at the time is going to be detrimental.
Right. Right. Guys, Jennifer asked if we could spend some time during the May camp discussing home layouts and practice tactics best suited for each person's home layout. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. We could do
something to think about. Like we talk about, we can't get to train all the time, especially with what's going on. We're limited. We've got online classes. We could do online training, but there's things that we can throw out to our clients, that stuff you could try doing.
Right.
One you should think about is, can you navigate your house in low light or next to no light?
Yeah.
Can you get to the door? Say you hear something downstairs, you don't have to worry about the kids. You don't have to worry about anybody that's in the house. You sleep with the door open, but you've got maybe a deadbolt or at least a basic lock on the door. Can you get out of bed, get to that door, secure it to get to wherever your weapon's secured, or whatever you're going to do for an escape or whatever,
right,
without kicking on lights?
Right.
and that would help you too, is being able to navigate your house if it's a fire.
Right.
You wake up and there's a fire and you got to crawl around and there's little to no visibility. Can you get out? You know where to go.
Right.
What I would do too is I wouldn't necessarily start off. I'm going to navigate through the house in the middle of the night with my eyes closed and nobody to make sure I don't fall down the stairs, because you may end up going for a ride and it may not end well for you.
Right.
So have somebody with you.
Yeah.
To start off and don't go crazy.
Right.
Figure it out. See if you can make it through a room from one end to the other without running into the couch.
No, that's a very good point.
And we teach you how to move. So use that lead foot. See what you have in front of you. Just to start feeling it out.
Right, and this is all stuff we teach in a lot of our courses and our sessions. And we might as well talk a little bit about fatal tunnel. Right, so you got a guy in the dark end of your house. If you have, let's say, a ranch, and you're coming out of your bedroom, and the bad guy's in the other end of your house in the living room, it's completely
in the
dark.
room, and you pick on the lights to go look, and now you're backlit.
Yeah,
and you basically gave them, you handed them a gift.
Right,
if they were there to cause you harm. When somebody breaks in at night, they know there's a great chance you're there.
Mm-hmm.
So they're really scary as an intruder.
And they've been up already. You're getting woken up, right? Your eyes haven't adjusted yet. You're still mentally trying to get your thought process together of what the hell is going on right now. And this person is completely ready to rock and roll, standing 30 feet, 40 feet away from you in another room. So being able to get your mental capabilities up as quickly as possible and ready to go, is important as well, which is what we talked about with the camp, waking people up in the middle of the night. Remember that with the air horns? Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure they love that.
So anything else you guys have for questions for us before we finish off tonight? I hope you guys really enjoyed today's live session. Feel free to hit that like button, please. Make sure you subscribe to our channels and follow us on social media. If you have any questions for us before we finish up tonight, put them in the comments. We'll be sure to answer them. If you're watching the replay of this live stream, you can always put them in the comments. We'll respond. Or if you prefer to have more of a private conversation with us about a topic or something we discussed, go to our website, click that bubble on the bottom right-hand corner, and start a live chat with us. And we can spend a few minutes with you talking about your training goals and answering any questions you might have. So what's the plan for the week, guys? What's on store? What's going on?
I'm just laying low, continuing my rebound back to normalcy.
Yeah.
And then get back to work.
I got a lot of videos I kicked up this past week. I got about 4 or 5 new videos that will be coming out, guys, on YouTube and Facebook, so watch out for those. And hopefully we'll get another one released tomorrow or on Monday. So I'm really excited about some of the content because we've been working on stuff for a lot of it for years, actually. And now with what's going on has allowed me to kind of get into the studio here and start getting stuff really recorded and done and get things out. And if there's anything that you guys would like to see, you're barricaded at home, you're not getting out, and you're like, man, I'm really concerned about home defense. I'm really concerned about active shooter, counterterrorism, or whatever it might be. Send us some suggestions of what you would like to see us do on a segment, either here on live or maybe do a live workshop online where you guys can join in and we have a Q&A session and go over the best practices for dealing with a threat. We'd be glad to do that because we've actually been bouncing around those ideas of putting together some trainings over the next week or two. So let us know what you're interested in, what we can do to help you out, and let us help you come up with a solution.
How about the useless gear of the week, Jimmy, before we get done?
Oh, can't forget about that.
Forget that.
All right.
These are great. I love these things.
All right. Here, let's see here.
And then we'll have a homework assignment.
Yes. All right. Here's our
Everybody's doing remote education now.
Here's our air horn. All right, guys. Here is our item of the week. Mike, please tell them what this is.
That is a magazine holder for the front rail on your gun.
That is a mag on the front.
It's spare magazine to be held up front.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know why.
Yeah. Useless tactical item that.
I mean, I guess if you, no, I can't justify. I'm sorry.
No.
You know what?
No, you got it.
Here's my question: can David create a holster for that?
Oh, I guarantee he can make a holster for it.
I agree. Yes, he can.
I would love to see it.
Scott, you want to pay him? He'll do it.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to pay him.
I want to put the bill.
Again, this would probably be another chest rig, right?
Yeah, that I don't know what.
What the hell?
Yeah, you can sit down with that thing on.
Ridiculous. So
Imagine about the rounds hanging out of the bottom, getting caught up on things.
yeah.
By the time
around.
you go to use it, half the ammo's gone out of the magazine.
Oh, you know what David says? That poor Glock. I know it is actually a shame that they would do this to a Glock.
It's dishonorable.
It should be like a Smith and Wesson or something, but you know,
Oh.
you knew that was coming. You knew that was coming. Hey, well, which brings me to my next question. What do you guys prefer? Glock, Smith and Wesson, Sig? What's your weapon of choice? Feel free to put them in the comments below, and we'll watch all those Glock comments and thumbs up coming in. Right, Scott?
Oh yeah, you know.
All right,
Yeah.
so the hope of the week for everybody in our clients, everybody watching, I think we're going to send out an email on this.
Yeah.
Check your batteries. You got a weapon light, you have a flashlight, your go-to flashlight, you've got stuff in your go bag,
You're right.
you have stuff in your emergency kit. Check your gear.
Mm-hmm.
This week we're going to have you try and get out there, check your batteries. Look in your go bag. Did you set up that go bag a year ago and forget to look in there since then?
Right.
Now you're going to open it up and the batteries are leaking or something. It's better to get it checked before you have to use it than after.
Right.
So go through your stuff, check it out, and then let us know. Did you have to replace anything?
No, absolutely.
You don't have to tell us to throw something away because it was the batteries that exploded and the acid ate through half the equipment. You don't have to tell us that. Just tell us you found you had something that was dead.
Hey, Drew. Yeah, Drew says, yeah, that's pretty stupid. LOL, stupid. Yeah, we agree with you, Drew. That's our tactical item of the week. We come up with an item every week that we find online that, what the hell would you do with this and why would you buy it type of item. And that was this week's, right?
I like all the gadgets. Everybody likes gadgets and stuff. They're fun.
Yeah.
But I found that even though I like having an optic on my rifle, or even a red dot or the holographic,
Yeah.
Kind of like in iron sights too. I stuff fails.
Yep.
I don't like to dismiss them.
Right.
So I always have iron sights, and even with I've got a 17 MOS. I put a red dot on there, and I got the suppressor sights. So if that fails, I still have regular sights on my weapon.
Right.
You can't rely on technology. Technology will fail you. Like I say all the time, the only thing you know that won't is yourself. You know your limitations,
Right.
and you know what you can do even when you break.
Right.
So, you love that mug. When did you get that thing?
Actually, I think we got it at it may have been Six Flags. I don't know. It's actually
You got that for a while.
I have. This is actually my son's.
Oh, you stole it from.
Yeah. Batman Jr.
We're seeing that again.
I'm Batman Senior. He's Batman Jr. CZ all the way. Yeah, CZs are really nice weapons. Really nice weapons. Is that your
They
everyday
are.
carry?
I've heard negative things about those too. I've even heard bad stuff about Glock. I'll admit it. I've heard it.
I've heard it. I've seen it. Right.
I haven't seen any evidence.
I shot a CZ a couple of times, and I've always had a really good experience with it, with CZs. But same thing, I always hear bad stuff. You know, what you hear the worst about is the Smiths. But, I think they get kind of a bad rap.
Did they fix the frame cracking all the time on you, or is that still going on?
Yeah,
It does.
that happened.
Has it happened?
Yeah,
No. All right.
doesn't happen.
All right. See.
I've only seen it once, but it was a lot of use on the gun.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think that's going to bring us to an end. I'd like to leave with one more homework assignment for you guys before next week. So,
Well, you're killing them.
What else do they have to do this week?
Yeah, nothing.
So
Some of us got to work.
check your batteries. Yes, and thank you guys because you are on the front lines. Appreciate everything you do and all the EMS workers and the doctors and first responders that don't get this time off and are on the front lines. So thank you guys and thank you to all of you out on the front lines and being prepared for this and helping us out. But here's the other homework assignment: check the batteries. Number 2, I want you to think like a criminal. At some point this week, you're going to need to go out to the store. You're going to need to go to the grocery store. Maybe it's Stop and Shop in Cheshire. Maybe it's another grocery store in your area or the pharmacy. I want you to sit in the parking lot for about 2 minutes. And I want you to think as a criminal, watch people coming out of that store, watch people walk in and think to yourself, what mistakes are they making? and watch the woman that comes out talking on her cell phone and not paying attention to anything that's going on around her. Watch the person that has their child inside of their carriage and they roll it to the back of their SUV and they leave the child in the back by the tailgate of the SUV and go into the driver's side and put their pocketbook and bags in, but the child is not visible into the back of the vehicle. And I just want you to think almost like a criminal of like, that isn't very smart to do. I just noticed that this person is making this mistake, because what you could do is make changes in your own life. And notice things that you might be doing wrong when you're out someplace, and being able to make those changes to keep yourself and your family safe. So take a minute or two when you're sitting out in the parking lot, watch people walk out, look at the mistakes and things that are going on as they're coming out, and think of ways that you can make changes in your own life, in your day-to-day operations, to make sure that you're not making yourself a resource to a bad guy and not making yourself vulnerable. And always making sure you have your head on a swivel, checking that parking lot, looking around. I think nowadays it's even more important to be aware of who might be in the car behind you as you pull out of a light and you're driving home, and noticing that the car is staying behind you and it's going down the side streets that you're going down, and you don't recognize the vehicle. Those things should start to make you a little bit more alert, be aware of your surroundings at all times, and dealing with those types of situations. If you feel like you might be being followed, don't go home. Go a totally different route away from that individual, so they don't know exactly where you live, and make a call to 911. Let them know you think you're being followed, and try to get a plate. If they end up going a different direction and taking off on you, don't chase them, don't follow them. Just get the plate number, report it to the police, and hopefully it was nothing. You guys want to add anything to that?
Or drive to your police department.
Yeah. Now you can't get into the police department, so make that 911 call and say you're on your way to the police department and you're going to be pulling in a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes. Let them know the make, model of your vehicle, where you are, and
a lot of lobbies now at public buildings and police departments are closing them.
Yeah. So
they might not be able to get in.
Right.
Using your phone is key.
You know, the other thing too, though, you pull into that police department and they're still behind you. I think you got a problem on your hands, right? Because
lap out in one driveway, down the street, back to the other driveway. He's going to circle until he gets there.
Hey,
you'll get our attention.
Yeah, make sure you have a full tank of gas.
Yeah, right.
Start driving around that parking lot and your low fuel light comes on. You're like, I knew I should have filled it 4 days ago. Plus gas. What's gas like per gallon?
Don't let your tank go below half a tank. I think I found it for $2.09 or $2.06 the other day.
172. 172.
197 in Wallingford.
Yeah.
Wow. 172 at Indian Hill up here on Moosehead Lake yesterday. 172 a gallon.
You're in the back end of nowhere. I mean,
you would think it would be more because of how much the transport costs, right? To bring it up there.
Yeah.
But I think
just remember.
Go ahead.
Just one thing, with the times the way they are, just in that Cheshire robbery that happened, that almost happened. It's a crime of opportunity.
Yeah.
Just make sure you put the cell phone down, put the groceries in the car, be aware of your surroundings, look what's happening. Like James said, act like a criminal. What am I doing that I'm not paying attention? Pay attention. It's a crime of opportunity, and I think, unfortunately, you might start seeing this more and more. But just remember, put your cell phone down and just pay attention. Focus what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing, is being aware of what's going on around you. Because, again, it's a crime of opportunity, and that person is looking for the next victim. So
right.
If he sees you with your nose in your phone, there you go.
Yep.
That's it. So
yeah, here's another comment from Drew. Drew says, be a sheepdog and not a sheep.
Yep.
Hell yeah, Drew. Nicely said, man. Mike, Scott, you want to add anything before we finish up tonight?
Yeah, one more thing. No, I'm kidding.
One more homework assignment.
Oh, one more thing. What? How about this?
Oh, yeah. Hey, guys, I appreciate everyone joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Sunday night, 7 o'clock. Make sure to share this on social media. Let everyone know what we do every week. If you have questions, put them in the comments below. If you're watching the playback of this afterwards, you can still put them in the comments or reach out to us via our website. Remember, T for Survival, training for surviving the fight of your life. My name is Jamie. On behalf of myself, Michael Kahn, and Scott Allard, we appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Be safe, everyone. We'll see you back here next week, same time, same bat channel. Oh,
nice.
Huh? Good night, everyone. Be safe.
See you later.